Hello and welcome to the Row Reviews 4-year anniversary spectacular. Yes, I do one of these every year, and in these videos I look back on all the videos I made this past season. There's a Q&A. I talk about kind of my plans going forward, and this year I'm throwing in a tier list, so stick around for all of that. But if you only want to see one of those things, then there are timestamps that you can go to and enjoy what you want. So, Season 4. In my last anniversary video, I was kind of hyping this season up. I was really excited to put out some awesome videos, put out a lot of my best videos, and the final result, if I saw it back then, I'd be pretty disappointed, honestly. Very slim output this year, only 4 main videos. You know, probably could have been better, but I don't really care. I mean, right now I'm just kinda like, I'm looking forward in terms of just 2023. Just making great videos and keeping a quality streak throughout 2023. But I do think what I put out in Season 4 wasn't too bad. I think it had, for as small as it was, I think it had some great ones. So yeah, let's get right into it with Persona 3. This is probably my favorite video that I've made, period. So, you know, I made the Persona 4 video, really liked it, and I was like, alright, well, I gotta play the other games. They have to be good. So I played Persona 3 next, since at the time 5 was not on PC yet. So I emulated Persona 3 FES, and I thought it was a fantastic game. When I got to the end, I was like, wow, this was great. Like, I was so blown away by the ending, and I was just like, man, I gotta just write down my thoughts. So I opened a Google Doc and just started just going ham on these notes and just writing everything that was coming to mind. It was a really long stream of consciousness thing of all the different aspects of the game. So that was kind of the basis of the script. In terms of the script itself, I mean, it's my best work, I think. I think it's my best written video. It flows great. And of course, the ending paragraph was something special. So with that ending paragraph, the themes of the game and how it struck me, and you know, the message I took away from the game, you know, that stuff, I feel like that paragraph really reinforces everything I already talked about. So it felt very cohesive to me. It felt like all the points I made in the video had a purpose, and it all weaved together well into this kind of message that I hammered home. But yeah, aside from that stuff, you know, I covered a lot more than I did in the Persona 4 video, because the Persona 4 video, you know, I called it reflecting on Persona 4 because it wasn't like a review or a retrospective on it in like kind of the normal sense, because there were a lot of things that I just didn't really talk about because I wanted to focus on like the characters and stuff. So that's what I did in that video. But with Persona 3, I wanted to flesh it out. When I made Persona 4, I was like, yeah, I really liked this video, but maybe I could have gone more in depth. So with 3, I decided to do that, and what we got of it was a 40-minute video, which is my longest main video. So that was really cool. In fact, that's another thing that I'm proud of with Persona 3 is the length, because back when I started, I was like, man, I wish I could make these long videos like Liam Triforce and King K does. I just can't do it. All I can do are 10-minute, 15-minute reviews, and those aren't good. I wish I could make long videos. And well, now I have. Now most of my videos are pretty long. So I feel like it was a bit of an accomplishment that I made a 40-minute video without even intending to. But yeah, just a great video that I'm really proud of. I just think it's a very well-rounded video that it's got purpose to it. I feel like it just works. It feels cohesive. It feels like there's impact at the end. Like the ending, it didn't feel tacked on. It made sense, because earlier in the video I talked about the themes and the character arcs and whatnot, and then the ending calls back to that and just kind of reinforces it and kind of finds meaning out of it, and I was really proud of that. But the funny thing with that ending paragraph is that that's not actually what I wrote first. What I wrote originally was just it was just very generic, like, this game was great, I'm glad I played it, or whatever. I don't think I have it anymore, but if I do, I'll put it on screen now. But it's just super generic, super short, and I recorded it that way in my original voiceover. Maybe I have that, I'll have to check. But it was just really short. It didn't really amount to much. It didn't have that emotion. It didn't have that meaning that it has now. So I was like, this ending, it could be a lot better. So I went outside with my phone and just ad-libbed it. I just kind of was doing like the speech to text on my phone and was just talking. I was like, and I came up with that ending. So, but as for like the actual production of the video, it wasn't too bad. I had a good time making it, and there was also a few live action bits, like me on the toilet, which that little gag took like a few hours to film and set up, which was kind of funny because it's so short. But anyway, there's one more thing that I do want to bring up with the editing of this video. So there's one part where I'm talking about how the characters will ask the protagonist what your reason for fighting is, and I felt like that it kind of correlated to the themes of the game, so I really wanted to mention that, and I wrote that in the script. And when I went to edit that part, I didn't have footage of a character saying that, so I go to this long play that I found, and I was just scouring this thing. I was just sitting there. I was trying to find this one specific line of dialogue, like this one line. I just could not find it. So what I ended up doing was I downloaded a beta version of Persona 3, and I opened it up in the emulator. And in the beta build of Persona 3, you can just pick what day you want to be in. So I might have went and found like a transcript and typed in reason for fighting and tried to find what day a character says that, and I went to that day and just recorded that. I did all of that for a little minute thing. So you people better appreciate the lengths I could go for these damn videos that nobody watches. Alright, that's how dedicated I am. That's how dedicated I am to my craft, man. But anyway, that's about it for that video. I really loved the video. I'm very proud of it. I think it's my best, and I'm very excited to make the Persona 5 video because I played that and it's a masterpiece. So very excited to talk about that game, but I don't know when that'll be. I don't want to hold myself to anything. Alright, switching gears a bit with the Wonder Years Greatest Generation video. So this video is definitely kind of the odd one out with the season, I think. And let's see, I heard the album, I thought it was amazing. For some reason I just felt like making a video about it. I just opened a doc, I just started writing about it, and then I had a script in like a week, I think. It really didn't take me very long. Just talked about all the songs, a little bit about their other albums, and kind of that scene of pop punk in the early 2010s, but the video itself, I don't know. I don't really care about it very much anymore. I wouldn't make it now. Like, it was a very spur of the moment idea. Because of that, I don't think it like holds up for me. I still think the album is great. That hasn't changed or anything, but like, if I were to listen to it now, I'd be like, yeah, this is great, but I wouldn't feel the urge to like make a video about it. Do I think the video is bad? No. The writing is fine. The edit, it's well edited. It's well made. I'd say the main thing I don't like about it, and this is only cause I have hindsight, but like, especially at the end, like I wrote it in this way where I was like, oh yeah, this album is gonna really stick with me for the rest of my life. No, it's not really in my rotation right now. It's on my topster. I think it's a phenomenal album. I will listen to it again, but like, I just don't feel that strongly about it now. I don't know. It's just a little weird. Like, I'm just kind of indifferent towards the video, not even because of the quality of it. I don't know. It's just not a video I'd make right now, I guess. However, I guess due to good timing, because I dropped it the week their new album it came out, it popped off. 9,000 views. Jeez, that's a lot of comments. But I will say, the thing with the Wonder Years is that the people that like them, like, they really connect with the music. They really resonate with people, like the really personal, kind of sad lyrics. It's anthemic and stuff like that. Like that stuff really can really resonate. So their fans, a lot of the music, kind of helped them through stuff, and a lot of the comments I got reflected that. Like, I loved reading a lot of the ones that, where people would talk about, their personal connection to the album or the Wonder Years in general. Yeah, I definitely appreciate the response. That was definitely the best part of the video. I'm glad that it brought fans together, I guess. I think that's great. But I suppose it does just feel a little weird since I'm not like a diehard fanboy. I just happen to really enjoy their music. But still, I won't complain about success. People seem to, enjoy the video. And I mean, it's a good video. It's well written and whatnot. It just, I feel a bit of a disconnect from it, I guess, since when I made it, I was like really passionate about that album. Meanwhile, now I'm like, yeah, it's a pretty fantastic album, but I'm not like, oh my god, I have to make a video about it. This is all I can think about. I have to get this out of my system. So it kind of made me think, like, when I make other music related videos, like, I want them to last. So I think from here I gotta be careful about what I pick, because I want something to actually, like, really genuinely, like, completely stick with me. Like, I just like making things that I'm passionate about, and it's nice if that passion still sticks, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I don't freaking know. Next up, learning to love Sonic Adventure 2. Obviously I skipped Adventure 1 for reasons stated in the video, but I just felt like my perspective and the angle I was going into the video with was just a little different, to not only keep myself interested, but also possibly keep the interest of others, which didn't really happen because the video failed for some reason. Only 120 views, which is kind of a shame, because I think the video is very good. I really like it. Sure, not overly original, but I do think the angle I went into it with me trying to look at the game at a different angle, it was definitely interesting to me. I enjoyed writing it. I enjoyed playing it. I don't think I have too much to say about the video other than I really enjoy it. I think it's a well put together video, and I think it's a pretty well written as well. But I did run into some really bad technical problems with the video, which was very annoying. Basically, I was having this weird problem where if I imported like OBS footage or footage from a camera, it would export with really dark blacks, and it looked bad. And I had no idea why this was happening, and I was like, what do I do? And I asked Reddit, and no one really knew. I didn't really find a solution. What I ended up doing was I changed the color space on the project, which in the preview made the footage which made the footage look more washed out. So what I did was I took that washed out footage and then I just upped the contrast. I upped the black levels and made a little preset and just put it on all the clips. And I mean, it technically fixed it. I got it to look normal, but like that's not a real solution. And then when I went to upload the video, I uploaded the wrong one. I uploaded the file that wasn't fixed and I premiered it that way. Ugh. I had to have my friend come over the next day and I gave him the correct file on like a flash drive. I gave it to him because he has a really fast internet. I don't. So I was just like, hey, can you like upload this video for me? And my man, he came in clutch. He uploaded it. There we go. The video is saved and then it got no views. But while I was working on the anime video, I was brewing the next main video, that being analyzing the aesthetic of Cowboy Bebop. This one's a banger. I had that video idea for a while, actually, like ever since I first watched Cowboy Bebop. I was like, yeah, I could do a video on the aesthetic of it. That'd be really cool. And then I decided to get started on it, so I rewatched the show, and during the rewatch I was like really paying attention to the visuals, and I was like, man, the show is so visually rich. A really interesting video to make, because like then I was not only just enjoying the show for what it was, I was just like constantly being amazed by the visuals and the shots and the music, just the vibes. The vibes were just fantastic. So I was taking notes on my phone and stuff. I started writing it. The first draft of it was a bit rough. I had to fix it up a decent amount. But when I was writing it, I was like, well, once the video comes together, it'll just kind of enhance the script, I think. And I think that's the case, because once I started putting the video together, I was like, oh yeah, this is good. But unfortunately, when I was going to do the voiceover, my sinuses were just acting up really bad. Like, I was stuffy as hell. I sounded really congested, and it was not letting up, so it took a while for my sinuses to clear out. But yeah, I really enjoyed editing it. I loved the montages. I always love a good montage, and that video had like 4 of them. When you're editing a video about a show that just looks as good as Bebop, like, it was just nice to just look at the show and get all the right clips and stuff. So a really well put together video. I think it's one of my better videos. I think it's better than the Sailor Moon one, even though that Sailor Moon video still means a lot to me. I still love that video. So far, Bebop it hasn't really popped off in the same way that Sailor Moon did, but hey, who knows, maybe it'll take off. I think that'd be great. Like, I was just kind of hoping that like a lot of the people that subscribed from Sailor Moon would maybe be interested, but they probably forgot I exist. I don't know, but it doesn't matter. But yeah, that is season 4. Pretty short, not perfect. Again, the Wonder Years video, not that into it. Sonic Adventure 2, maybe it's a little generic, but honestly, I think with having Persona 3, Adventure 2, Bebop, I can't complain. I think I put out some good stuff. So I'm not too bent out of shape about it. Overall, a decent season. I think it's better than season 3. But yeah, that has been the season 4 retrospective. Now let's move on to the tier list. But not just any tier list. We will be tearing out my own videos from the past 4 years. No extra vids, just the main stuff. We're going to tier them from F to S. First up, we have my Star Tropics video, my first video, and I mean, it's not good. However, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. It could have been worse. I've seen much worse first videos, and I mean, the actual editing, it's all right. I showed what I was talking about at the very least, and I don't know. It kind of means something to me. I think the video has just a bit of charm to it. It's bad, but I don't really think it's awful. It's kind of humble, which sounds stupid, but I don't know. I kind of have a soft spot for the video, if I'm being honest. So yeah, because of that, I'd probably put it in C tier. Now, After this, I made a review of Detective Pikachu, you know, the movie, and I forgot to put that in there, but that's okay because it's really short and bad and a throwaway. So apologies to the Detective Pikachu spoiler-free review fans out there. My heart goes out to you. You don't exist. But next we have the Sonic 1 review, and this video is dog shit. So one thing that I was criticized for in my Star Tropics video was my very sleepy, monotone narration that nobody liked. So instead of just bumping it up a little bit, you know, increasing my inflection, I went like through the roof, and I had this really over-the-top voiceover. The jokes are awful. There's a part where I'm criticizing Labyrinth Zone, and I'm like yelling, and it's terrible. Awful video. I mean, it's really funny. I mean, you have that "I wish I was born in the 90s" line, and that's really cringe and funny, but the video is awful. One of my worst videos, like those old Sonic videos, are not very good. I'd put it in F tier. And then we have Sonic 2, which I made in the same month, so it has similar problems. Also awful voiceover, terrible narration, even worse jokes. I kept making like, Sonic ripped off Dragon Ball Z jokes. Like, nobody makes those jokes anymore. People weren't making those jokes in 2019. Alright, they were bad on impact. And yeah, it's basically the same video again. So, also F tier. Now, Sonic CD, not that bad. I mean, the audio quality isn't great, but when I made that video, I was actually genuinely proud of it. The writing I was pretty happy with at the time. It's well put together. I can't really hate on it too much, other than just it's old and not as good as, you know, my stuff now. But it's not like so awful that I can't watch it. So because of that, I'd probably put it in C tier. Then we have Lego Racers, which it's okay, I guess. There's like 4 R's in the thumbnail. People like that. But, you know, it's just whatever. I'd say it's also C tier. Oh boy, Sonic 3. For those of you that know me, know the channel, my Sonic 3 review is my lowest point. It's really bad. It's very ass-headed. It's very annoying because it's like, I don't like this game that other people do, therefore I'm so cool. So yeah, I cringe very hard at this video. Yeah, it's bad. I'd put an F tier. It's my worst to this day. I mean, maybe that's debatable, because next up we have my review of Green Day's Father of All album. I started getting into music in like late 2019, and you know, I was getting into, you know, I was really into Green Day. Their album rolled around. When did it come out? January? I don't remember. I don't care. But it came out, and I was like, oh boy, new Green Day album. Oh my god. Is it gonna be good? And back then, I had heard maybe like, I don't know, 20 albums tops, maybe. All rock, like all pop punk probably. And my god, I thought the album was good. So, from what I remember, it was just a song for song rundown. And I remember I was like, yeah, it's not that bad. I don't remember it being like poorly made, but like for the opinion alone of liking Father of All, because I revisited Father of All since, it's one of the worst rock albums I've ever listened to. It's terrible, like actual 0 out of 10. Fantano was on that money back then. I mean, I guess I can't blame myself too much, because that video did save my channel from a hiatus. So hey, maybe for that, I guess that's the only positive, but I've considered unlisting it. It's F tier. Alright, next up, Sonic Pocket Adventure review. kind of the same camp as Lego Racers. It's alright, very short, very simple review. I don't really make those kinds of videos these days. I'd say it's like C tier, pretty forgettable, I would say. Alright, next up, we have an interesting one. We have the Mario 64 video, which, it's not bad. Like, I would say it's definitely the best Season 1 video. That's more than certain. I can't talk. I think the script, it's got a lot of heart to it. It's like pretty genuine, pretty heartfelt write-up of the game. It's not very in-depth. It's not that bad. I don't know if it's a great video, but it was definitely my best at the time. So because of that, I'd probably give it like high C tier. But afterwards we had the start of Season 2, and I kicked it off with Star Tropics 2, and it's alright. The times I've revisited that video, it's kind of boring. Like my voiceover is pretty monotone. It's not the most interesting thing ever, but it's not a bad video. It's alright. I'd say it is also C tier. Next up, 8-Bit Sonic. I don't like that video at all, really. The voiceover is garbage. Like, I was stuttering, and my microphone was making all these weird noises. I don't know why it has like over 300 views. That kind of scares me. I don't know why people were clicking on that, but y'all need to go somewhere else. I don't know if it's F tier, but it's not great. Is it mid? I don't think it's as bad as these other ones, so I'm also gonna put it at low C tier. After that, we have my favorite video game soundtracks, which is actually a pretty decent video. I think to that point it was my most like well presented video, like visually, audio. It's just dated now because there's a lot of Sonic soundtracks, and at the time I hadn't experienced the wonderful world of Persona, so a Persona soundtrack would have made it in there. It's not bad. I definitely put it, I'd put it high C. It's not bad. But after that, we have a bit of a cornerstone of my channel, the Earthbound Halloween Hack Review. That video went through development hell because it was originally going to come out in Season 1 2019, but I just put the video aside and came back to it in 2020, and it's not bad. It's fairly well written, got a lot of views, was definitely a success. I'd say I still generally enjoy the video. I don't know if I would necessarily seriously critique a ROM hack now, but at the time I felt like doing that. But I think it's a pretty decent video. I'd say it's a B tier. After that, we have Christmas Nights, and I'd say the second half of Season 2, starting with Halloween Hack, that's when my videos started to get like watchable. Case in point, Christmas Nights. I kind of like this video a decent amount, actually. It's a simple review, much like some of my other ones at the time, but it's pretty well put together. It's nice. I'd also put it in B tier. Alright, next up, we have a video that I'm actually still really proud of, and that's the Sonic R How Reviews Evolved video. I love this video. I think it's great. I think it actually holds up pretty decently if you go back and watch it. I just think the topic is really interesting. I thought it was a really cool concept, and I had a blast putting it together. I was very excited about it, and to this day, I still enjoy this video a lot. I'd honestly say it's A tier. After that, we have the Season 2 finale in the Daft Punk Discovery video. I also really like this video still. Discovery is one of my favorite albums of all time, and making a video on it was very enjoyable. Well made, well voiced, pretty well written overall, an enjoyable video on a very enjoyable album. I'd say it's like high B, maybe A, but I'm not gonna go that far because we still have some good videos ahead. Case in point, Aesthetic of Sailor Moon. This one's a classic. Yet another pretty creative, interesting topic. I enjoyed making the video and it popped off to 24,000 views right now. That's an accomplishment, I would say. And even revisiting it, I still think it's a pretty enjoyable video. I mean, it's not perfectly written, but I still enjoy it a lot. I would say it is also A tier. Alright, 90s Sonic spin-offs. This is just a video where I reviewed a bunch of random Sonic spin-offs from the 90s. I think it's pretty decent. Nothing crazy, but I had fun with it. I enjoyed the video, I would say. So I would say it's definitely a solid B tier. But after that, I dropped yet another classic with Persona 4. One of my more in-depth videos at the time. And I just kind of poured my heart out in the video. Just was really passionate about Persona 4. I still am. I still really love this video. It's one of my favorites. I'm still very happy with this video, so I would put it in the S tier, our first S tier. And changing gears pretty harshly, we have Earthbound Christmas Hacks. I don't know why I made this. It's boring, short, the audio is terrible. I used the wrong compressor, it sounds really bad, and it's just really forgettable. I don't know, it's very throwaway, very uninteresting, so because of that, definitely C tier. Alright, next up is a bit of a conflicting one for me, and that is the Raimi Spider-Man trilogy retrospective. I'm really not that into this video. I spent a lot of time on it. I tried to refine the script. I tried to make it good. I watched the movies, I think, twice each. When I was making it, I just kept like referring to other videos, and I just felt like I was regurgitating other people's thoughts. Like, I'd say it's like low B because it is well made. But what I am a huge fan of, and you already know because I already talked about it earlier, but Persona 3, my best video. It's a classic. I already talked about it. I would say it's tip top S tier. But we have the Greatest Generation video. I kind of conflicted on it, but a decent video nonetheless. I'd say it's B tier. Learning to Love Sonic Adventure 2. I really enjoyed this video. I'd say it's a low A, probably. And Cowboy Bebop, just put that out. I think it's a great video. I think I did a great job, honestly. So I'd honestly say it's a S tier. Okay, and that is it ranked, roughly. Sonic 3 is the worst. So yeah, that's how I'm feeling about my videos these days. Yeah, I'd say I've definitely improved over time. So yeah, that's the tier list. And now let's move on to the Q&A. Oh wow, it seems that all my hair has fallen off and I'm left with a fresh cut. But yes, it's time for the annual Q&A segment. I got a decent handful of questions this time, some interesting ones, some silly ones. Let's get straight into it. Pack Jeff asks, what video that you've made are you the most proud of? Well, if you saw the retrospective portion of this video, then Persona 3 would be the obvious answer. Very proud of the video. Do you think any of your older videos still hold up today? Well, it kind of depends on how far back we're going. If we're talking season 1, I'd say very little of it holds up. Like Mario 64 is like watchable, but if we're kind of going into season 2, yeah, the second half is pretty solid. How come you never bought into Xbox? So in one of my old update videos, I teased the idea of doing discussion videos, video essays on various gaming topics, and one of them was, how come I never bought into Xbox? And look, I know it's a joke question, but if I had made that, my reasoning would be that, oh, well, I don't want to buy one because all the games are on PC and I have one of those. I don't need an Xbox. And look, if I'm being honest, that's still kind of the case. However, that backwards compatibility on the Series X, I think, or whatever, pretty good, pretty great, pretty enticing, honestly. ReeseyPuffy asks, do you wear wigs? No. Have you worn wigs? No. Will you wear wigs? Maybe. When will you wear wigs? Probably for like a cosplay or Halloween costume or something, like one of those freaking Persona costumes, you know. I'd probably wear one in that instance. And have you ever played any instruments? Well, in middle school and also ninth grade, I took a guitar class. In middle school it was a music class, but and we occasionally played guitar in there. We learned a few very basic, like chordless riffs on acoustic guitars, and then in ninth grade it was a straight up guitar class where we would learn like a new song each day and we'd play it. And once we got into playing chords, I gave up because those were too hard. Rose.mauve asks, what excites you most about making a video? I guess just the idea of putting my passion and talking about what I like through the writing and visuals, and just making something interesting, compelling, funny, just sharing my passions, I guess, is what excites me about making videos. Because like, if I'm not passionate about the topic, I'm not very excited about it. So, but yeah, I would say that. And then they ask, top 5 most formative pieces of media for you. That's a very interesting question. I like it a lot. But I would say, in chronological order anyway, I didn't like rank these, but chronologically, I would go Ocarina of Time 3D, because it showed me what a game could be, and I think that's really special. It just blew my mind, became my favorite game, and yeah, if not for that game, I probably wouldn't be the loser I am today. But after that, I'm gonna go with One Piece, because it was one of the 3 or 4 anime that I watched on Toonami and got really into. But One Piece, especially, I was obsessed with. I thought about it all the time. It was kind of wild. So I would credit One Piece with making me like anime. But after that, I have The Simpsons. I started watching it in like 6th grade, and I pretty much watched it like all throughout middle and high school. It's just it's my favorite show, at least in terms of like the golden era. I'm not too huge on like 2000s Simpsons forward, but those 90s seasons, like, I watched them all the time. The show kind of enhanced my vocabulary. I remember I learned a lot of words from The Simpsons, and just the characters, and maybe even life lessons. I mean, Barney Gumble certainly kind of scared me away from drinking, I'll say that. And yeah, it's just one of those personal attachment shows that I just watched it a lot. It also kind of influenced my humor and creativity throughout middle school. So definitely The Simpsons. And after that, I have Mother/Earthbound. I played those games in 9th grade, loved them. And it kind of just got me back into gaming. It got me back into RPGs, and they just really stuck with me, really resonated with me. So yeah, it was definitely an important piece of media at the time. And for the 5th one, I actually have a fairly recent example, and that is Torches by Foster the People, which in 2019 was the first album that I really listened to, because, you know, we all know Pumped Up Kicks, classic. And for some reason, me and my friends were just kind of listening to that song again, not because we were planning anything wacky or anything, but we were just listening to it, and I was like, man, this song is really good. Well, what else did they make? Oh, this is an album. What are these other songs? And then I started getting into albums, like American Idiot is another early example. So yeah, those would be my most formative pieces of media. Yeah, interesting question, Rose. I appreciate that one. WeeMan365 asks 5 questions. Number 1, favorite anime currently? Well, I just finished Evangelion, and might be the best anime I've watched so far. I'm not too sure. I mean, Sailor Moon is still, it's still special. But Evangelion, man, damn, that was a good show. And the other day, I watched the end of Evangelion. Probably one of the most insane movies I've ever seen. I didn't really understand all of it, and I've been thinking about it ever since I watched it. And that, man, what? Okay, do you play any real instruments? Alright, circling back to the instruments, no. I was not very musical as a kid. In fact, I kind of hated music when I was young or little, and I just never really listened to music. I only really liked video game music, so playing an instrument was like, no way, that's lame. And even now that I'm more interested in music, I listen to a lot of music. I mean, would I make music? Sure, why not? I'll make a lo-fi indie rock album. But to me, music, it's got to be in your soul, man. Like songwriting and playing an instrument, very different things. And if I were to play an instrument, I want to write on that instrument, and I just don't think I have that in my soul, I'm just not that kind of person. But if you play an instrument, that's awesome. Bass is cool. Drums would be cool to play with. But yeah, no, I don't play instruments at all. Number 3, what's a game you like from a series you hate, and vice versa? Well, the first part, I don't really have an answer for, because my taste and experience in games is very basic and kind of slim. So I've never played a game from a series I don't like that I liked, like the game I liked, but the series I don't like. I haven't had that experience. But the opposite, yeah, definitely a few. I mean, I could pick a Sonic game, a bad Sonic game, but that'd be too easy. So instead, I'm going to go with Super Mario Kart for the SNES, because I pretty much like every other Mario Kart game, but not the first one. I think the first one, sucks ass. Number 4, what's your preferred drink, if you can have any? Well, I live in Florida, and we have this thing called a sweet tea. I don't know if you're a northerner, then buddy, you're missing out, because to me it's just the go-to beverage. It's delicious, provided you make it right. And number 5, favorite song in the genre of rock. Well, that's a loaded question, pal. But in this moment, on this day, I'm gonna go with Welcome to the Black Parade by My Chemical Romance. Hell yeah. Masterpiece. One of my favorite songs ever. I love the Black Parade so much. One of the best rock albums ever. But aside from that, I'd probably say stuff like Jesus of Suburbia by Green Day, Us and Them by Pink Floyd, Smells Like Teen Spirit, Bulls on Parade, stuff like that. Flame Guy 21 asks, what do you listen to while working on videos? Really just whatever album I'm into at the given time that isn't too distracting or anything. So yeah, it just kind of varies, but lately it's been Currents by Tame Impala, also a little Dark Age by MGMT, stuff like that. What is your favorite cookie flavor? Well, I'm a pretty simple guy, so honestly, I just like chocolate chip the best. You can't really go wrong. Alright, Fusefall asks, what's your favorite season you've made yet? Honestly, I'd probably go with season 4, the newest one. It's short, but the videos that I made were good. I'm sure the Wonder Years one is a bit odd, but the good ones are good. Any videos you regret canceling? That's a bit of an interesting question, because like if I cancel a video, it's usually because I don't want to make it. But if I did have to give an answer, I'd say maybe the Mario Kart retrospective, which I was working on, I think late season 2. I canceled it only because I was having technical problems with the footage importing. It would not play back in the proper frame rate, so I just straight up didn't really make the video. But if I did, I think it would have been pretty good. Survival Kids video? No. Is there anything you'd love to cover but are holding off on until you're more talented? Implying that I'm already very talented. Yeah, definitely. There's quite a few. The main one for me is Ocarina of Time 3D. Just a video on it. It's my favorite game of all time. I played it way back when it was like new. I just loved it. It was my favorite game then, and it's still my favorite game today. So the emotional attachment I feel to Ocarina of Time is very, very intense. So stuff like that, it's just kind of hard to describe, and I feel like if I wanted to really hit that emotional stride, I don't know. I don't think I can tackle it right now. But I'll get there one day. Once I feel like I have the ability, the idea, I'll definitely do Ocarina of Time. But aside from that, the Mother series is definitely another one I'm kind of holding off on for similar reasons. Although if you told me to make one right now, I'd make like an Earthbound video right now, even if it'd be hard to put my feelings into words. Would you consider more music videos, maybe analyzing the sound of like your aesthetic series? That's not a bad idea. In fact, I kind of like that idea. But I mean, in terms of like music videos in general, absolutely. In fact, just recently I've had a lot of music video ideas, so you'll definitely see more of that. But like analyzing the sound of, I could see that working with some albums, like maybe Igor or something by the Flaming Lips. But I don't know. I feel like at that point, if I made a video about the album, then I would also talk about the sound of the album. So I would just kind of title it something more normal, I guess. But hey, neat idea. I might steal it one day. Munch? You thought I was feeling you? The Game Dimension asks, what would you say is your favorite part of the video making process? Definitely just the video editing, honestly. Like, it's the part of the process that I'll do like all day. Writing, I kind of got to be in the mood for it, but like editing, I can do it anytime for like a long period of time, and that's just my favorite part personally. Writing is cool too, but it's a bit of a slower process for me, so I'm not always as like super excited about it, but I definitely enjoy that a lot as well. At this point, you've covered several media types between music, shows, games, etc. Is there any singular one you have a preference for making videos on the more you grow as a creator each season? That's another interesting question. I'd say as of recent, I guess the idea of music related videos are a little more interesting. I certainly come up with a lot of music related video ideas, but with games, I'll still definitely cover games, but stuff like the Lego Racers video, I wouldn't exactly make that now because it's just very simple, not much going on, and that's just not really what I do now. And I feel like if I covered a game, then it's got to be something a little more impactful, like Persona. Those videos I love making them, and I'm currently very into and passionate about Persona, so it just kind of works. But like smaller games that I just kind of play here and there, I'm not always inclined to just make videos on those because it's not quite as interesting. I feel like at this point I should probably kind of start diving into Zelda a bit, because Zelda is my favorite series, and I feel like now I could deduce some of those games justice, aside from Ocarina of Time. But like Majora's Mask or Wind Waker, I'd honestly love to make videos on those, because I feel like I could extract something from them that is more passionate. So that's kind of what I look for in a video topic. So there's that. And I do want to cover more anime as well. I think that'd be cool. So I don't know, to me they're kind of almost on even ground. It just kind of depends on how interested I am in it. It's just because I've gotten into music more recently, there's probably like a bit of a recency bias. So I hope that's a decent answer for you. And last but not least, Amoeben's Junk Drawer asks, Ian, give me the best Blink song from the worst album, and the worst Blink song from the best album, and then give me the middest song from the middest album. Okay, I know this is a meme, but best Blink-182 song from the worst Blink-182 album, which is 9. So what's the best song on 9? That's a hard question to answer. That album is total dog shit, bro. I guess maybe Heaven. On some emo shit. The chorus had potential, but it was just kind of squandered by the trap beats on the song. Worst Blink song from the best album, which would be their Untitled album, which is still really good. The worst song, not counting the interludes, probably all of this with Robert Smith. I like that song. I love the acoustic guitar lick in it. I think it's great, but when I listen to Untitled, sometimes I'll skip that one. Then give me the middest song from the middest Blink album. I guess the middest Blink album would be like California, I guess. But the middest song, let me look. Okay, I'm looking at the track list, because California is overall pretty mid. Like it kind of has its moments occasionally, but I'm gonna say Home is Such a Lonely Place, because I just remember it being like really boring. I wasn't a fan, but I don't think it's the worst. I don't know, it's been a while, but like I feel like something like She's Out of Her Mind is worse, so I'm gonna go with Home is Such a Lonely Place, since it's like a slow burner on California. I don't know what they were thinking on that one. Thessalonians 4:3-4. God wants you to be holy, so don't be immoral in matters of sex. Respect and honor your wife. You know what? I think we should all do that. So I'm going to leave it there on that wholesome, holy parting message from our good friend, Ambien. But that has been the Row Reviews Q&A. I hope you enjoyed. I appreciate everybody who sent in a question. A lot of good ones this time. And, yeah. So, yeah, here's the part where I kind of reflect and talk about plans going forward. And yeah, all I can really say is just, I'm not too bent out of shape about season 4 being a little scant. Not a big deal. I'm just kind of looking forward to 2021 being, or 2023 being as good as it can be in terms of my videos. I got plenty of ideas that I can work with. But yeah, expect varying topics and all of that. Right now I'm working on Persona 5, which will be really good. I'm really excited about it. But aside from that, I think the only thing I can really say is just I sort of want to almost like experiment a bit more. Like these days I don't watch as many like in-depth or like try hard video essays these days. I mean, I still watch plenty of video essays, but sometimes I just enjoy videos with a more casual slant, not so rigid in the writing, a little looser. So I think I want to experiment with that a bit more, I kind of want to make like a Persona character tier list, honestly, like just, a nice edited but still kind of loose unscripted video. I like watching that stuff, and people say make what you like, so might do stuff like that. Might do some like topical videos where I'm on camera more, something like that. Just, I don't know, I just kind of want to loosen up a little, I guess. Not to say that the quality will suffer or anything. That ain't what I'm saying. I'm still gonna try. I always try, but I'm not gonna be overly concerned with making something meaningful and deep. Like Persona 3, you can't make that stuff all the time, so I don't want to hold myself to that all the time, but I also don't want to make stuff that's boring or redundant, like how I feel about the Greatest Generation video. Not that video is bad, but like, I ain't talking stuff like that. In fact, it's just kind of hard to describe what I'm talking about. Lately I've just been watching people like Only Small Bites, a bit of Nathan Zed, and even some of Hazel's more shorter videos. Like, I really like those. Like, her Sonic Adventure video was really nice, and it wasn't very in-depth. It was just like, hey, I like this thing and I'm gonna talk about it, so I might just do some more of that. But yeah, I don't know, I don't have too many concrete plans, but I will say, considering how much I just really like Persona these days, I definitely want to kind of go more into that and maybe cover some of the spin-offs, maybe some of the anime, and I do want to cover Strikers sometimes. So yeah, and I know when I answered the Game Dimensions question, I mentioned doing some Zelda stuff, so finally tackling that. So once I get the chance to play through a Zelda game, I might do something like that. So yeah, going forward, good videos. I'm not gonna, I'm gonna try and pick, the most interesting topics to me. I'm thinking plenty of music, some anime, some games, all that stuff, and maybe some experiments here and there. I look forward to season 5, which, dang, 5 years next year. That's kind of wild. But yeah, that's season 4. That's the anniversary, and I'll see you next time.
You think you know me?
Just one time, big stick. All that money get flushed in the blink. Try to dribble, go give me a ring. You got money, you don't gotta think. I was chillin' one time, bitch, bang. Let the app now, I get what you things. Feel like urgent when I'm on the scene. All these felonies they never seen. Got my cup like I'm Argentine. Like the second bitch, stay on my screen. I'm addicted to hating on me. Don't know what it takes, do not ever change. Just one time, big stick. All that money get flushed in the blink. Try to dribble, go give me a ring. You got money, you don't gotta think. Crack is soft as a mink. Hold your body to stay on my sing. Ketamine got me singing like Tink. It's just like a pill, I feel like I'm just one time, bitch, think. All that money get flushed in the bank. Tell a dribble, go give me a ring. You got money, you don't gotta think. One.